What's up, Nathan?
Nah, dog.
I got one question before I get out of here. Zach, how does it feel to be the best host on this podcast?
Oh,
It's
Okay, shots fired.
I learned a
shots
lot
fired.
from Josh, and I'm just grateful to follow in his footsteps.
yes, sir.
Damn.
Well, boys,
That's fucked up.
alrighty, on that note, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. As always, been a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, Nathan. That was a blast.
Thanks, Nathan.
What a guy, huh? That's our
Man.
judge, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Steckman. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 52 of Big Deck Energy. We are diving into 1 year.
Let's
one
go.
year of
Let's
podcasting,
go.
gents.
Let's
go.
It's been
Hey.
a fun year.
1 year of podcasting, and you know who's not here to celebrate with us?
Fucking Cliff.
Fucking Cliff.
That big red dog, him.
Cliff, I told you should have called in.
Yeah, he should have. From work.
It's just a shame. Just a shame. But we're going to be diving into some spicy stuff this week. We're going to be talking a little bit about the meta and how much we hate it. We're going to talk about the battle harden that just happened over the weekend. We also are going to dive into a couple questions, and then we have a couple fun things going on this episode.
Oh, yes.
We got two guests with us. We got Zach back on the mic. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back.
We love
like 3 almost in a row. Is he even a guest anymore?
it. No, he's a co-host almost. And then we have a fun little segment we're going to do with our Bumblebee judge, Nathan. Nathan?
What's going on?
JCR of the entire Midwest region.
He's going to be doing
A great plane.
He's going to be
I
doing
gotta
a
get
little
my pick in now before you start. Did you guys report?
Oh, shit.
Don't worry, I got my deck list sheet right in front of me for you. You can do a deck check for me.
The blank one?
Yes, sir.
Not like you're going to play, Josh.
Gonna
Whoa.
get DQ'd.
Whoa. I have been banished from the shop. So if you guys haven't noticed, Nathan's here to do a little roast. Kind of
Yeah.
just fry our asses here.
We thought it'd be kind of fun for the year anniversary to get the guy who probably roasts us the most on the regular basis anyways. So, and I think, honestly, after last episode, I don't know if you've listened yet, Nathan, but we kind of went in on your ass a little bit. So we, I figure we give you a chance to, defend yourself and come on and, give
it's
give it right
crazy
back.
that you ask me to do a job, and then I do that job, and then you get mad at me for doing that job. It's crazy out here, dude.
Hey, I don't think anyone has ever said they've been mad at you.
Nope, never once.
Well,
Except for
No
that
one's
time
ever
you told me
mad-
you were going to DQ me for saying one word.
Oh,
not like it would have mattered, Bailey. You were already like, what, 4 at the time? Shit.
We hadn't even started yet.
has the roast started even?
Oh, it started.
No, this
Maybe
is just how
04 in
how it
spirit.
simply works.
This is just the appetizer. Oh, man.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I want to set the record straight. It was a late start to the event. Tyler was too busy at the parade to come actually start the event. So late
Oh,
start
he
to the
wasn't at the
event.
parade.
Yeah, actually
I had
was.
You were
I had
in
to-
the parade?
No, not in it. Just sit there.
I had to
Oh,
keep
my
everyone
Lord.
honest
Beer
to
garden.
keep it rolling. One of the key roles of a judge is keeping the event moving. And
Yeah, I heard Ty was trying to sneak peeks at the deck
Oh
list.
my god, here we fucking go, dude.
Hey,
Whatever.
all I'm gonna say is Tyler couldn't reach the finals to save his life at a pro quest until he started looking at deck lists, and then suddenly he's in the finals. Still can't close, but he's suddenly in the finals. Crazy.
Tough.
I don't even
Like you
how do
might
I,
have some explaining, dude.
The other thing, for a majority of the last 2 weeks, all I've heard Tyler talk about is how, his grievances with Miss Vale, and for the first
there's been
know,
some.
2 months that I knew him, he was like, powerful cards are fine. We want more powerful cards. And then LSS printed powerful cards, and Tyler's sitting there like the fucking baffled Pikachu going,
It's just too powerful.
no idea.
It's too powerful. I want power, but not too much power. With great power comes great responsibility, LSS, okay?
They're beatable. We saw it.
I know.
Yuzuri did.
No, I know. Everything's going to be fine. I'm telling myself that on a day-to-day basis with this game. It'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. It'll shake out. It'll balance out.
Hey, it's
yeah.
I'm telling you, we just gotta wait for Rosetta. These heroes just fold to Arcane.
they do.
Maybe.
No, they
It's
do.
yet to be seen.
It might. Speaking of heroes that fold to Arcane, Ty, how's Teklo doing?
Teklo's pretty good. Went 3-0 today at my armory, so that was
Nice.
pretty sweet. Did play a
The
Arcane.
new player event?
Beating on a whole bunch of new players.
Hey, Bailey. Okay.
Hey, to be fair,
How
hold
did
on.
you
These
do with
players
the
were
player
from
event
Mound.
today?
These were not new players.
Hey, I got beat on by new players, okay? There's a difference. I don't think I played a single one of the Mound crew.
What?
Weren't they all from Mound? I thought the whole other
Were they?
part of the tournament was
Were they?
from Adventure Loot. Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was some from the
Anyways,
Forge.
the Forge in Chaska, Minnesota, held their first armory today on a Sunday. Bailey and I were able to make it, and yeah, it was pretty good. We had 12 players for their first sanctioned armory,
Yes,
so
sir. Love it.
a lot more players than you would have expected. But yeah, it was good. It was a good day, Nathan. Okay, I beat a Vincent. I beat some arcane damage today. Still haven't. Yeah, that one fucking queued up, dude. God damn it. Yeah. Going back to that Riptide game, though, I still have not watched back the stream. I have to do that. Still don't really know where I went wrong in that game. I want to think like I said, it's Dreadbore. Just fucked me.
It is. I watched.
Can't
your
remember
game.
how many times. Well, you watched like the end of it.
I watched most of it.
I
Yeah.
commentated that game. Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to tell me where I went wrong in that game, Zach? You've seen it more times than I have.
This is like some pro analysis.
I don't know. I just feel like Dreadbore, and then the fact that you were only how many defense reactions, like that interaction itself.
I usually cut my fate for scenes at least. I leave them all on my sideboard outside of like Sink Below, and I think I play like Hold the Line still or something. Not.
Yeah.
It's not even
But he
a
had
good one,
a
but-
turn where he went like 3 or 4 arrows wide, which you just like you had to block out, and you kind of like lost tempo there, and were never able to really establish enough evos on board to be able to get the flip ready to go.
Yeah, I remember being pretty like late to the party with my evos. Like I was not seeing them as early as I would have liked.
Stop.
That's so whack. I swear to God, you have Tron assembled on me by like turn 4, like every time.
You know, it kind of does feel a bit like Tron. You just assemble Tron and go the fuck off. Like, yeah, that's very true. But yeah, some games you just like you do that though. I don't know.
I mean, your singularity got taken out as soon as you had a hand, and it was like a all red hand too. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't happen honestly like very often in the deck because I run such a high blue count. But yeah. Anyways,
Well-
did you have any more for us, Nathan? Or
Well,
I mean, I was gonna check in with Josh, see how his Flesh and Blood career's been going.
armory, went great. I didn't get to show up, but I played Mortalishar on
Hey.
Zen,
That's
and
fair.
I'm
That's
I'm
fair.
liking Zen.
You've been. Do you even still know the rules to Flesh and Blood?
Damn right I do.
do you know how to pitch a card
Are you
and play a
sure?
card?
Yeah, you put the pitch in the top spot, and then you play the card,
Yeah,
right?
something like that. I don't know.
You busy
You-
playing Star Wars Unlimited?
Nope, haven't even touched that.
Look
yet.
at his table. Josh,
I
you wanna
see
give
some
us just a quick scan
Lorcana. I
over
see
your
some
table?
Star Wars. Oh, there's some Flesh and Blood too.
There's a lot of Flesh and Blood. There's
Yeah, some Flesh and Blood, yeah.
packs under there.
Had to set that out so that you didn't think he was playing other games.
Dude, could you
No.
imagine? I'm like, all right, I'm coming over for the pod 9:30, and he's like, fucking quick, fucking getting all of his Flesh and Blood cards to put on the
pull
Swear to
table.
them
God,
out.
every time I've been over there for Legion, it's just been Star Wars and Lorcana on that table. He
Oh,
might
no,
just
it's
like
not.
out.
No, it is not.
Oh
I
man,
love it, but
But-
no.
It's
Hey,
it's
they
really
still
crazy.
had they still had boxes of the first set of SWU at the Forge. So
The Spark.
Both, yeah.
Hmm.
Sean actually got one.
You bought one?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm like, what? What are you gonna do? He's like, buy one piece. I'm like, what? They got Star Wars. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, look, they have Star Wars. He's like, oh yeah, I'll get a Star Wars box then. it was funny.
We're gonna bite the bullet. We're gonna go one piece.
Yeah,
Did they not have any Flesh and Blood packs?
they did. They didn't have any misfail.
oh, they did.
Yeah, no misfail, no armory kit, but still, it was a good event.
No packs.
They still had Monarch.
No, I mean they're
randomly.
getting their armory kits and stuff. Like it was, they paid out in I think in like heavy hitters packs or something.
Hmm.
Or yeah, you could also choose I think or whatever.
It's not bad. Well, Bailey, how did your armory go?
I went 1-2, not 2-1. I'm not that good.
Was your one going to buy?
No, it was not. My round. It was a round 1 win. I'm pretty sure. Let me check now. But yeah, I was on Azalea. Still on the Sand Scour.
I was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Bailey, have you heard the definition of madness? Or I suppose it's insanity.
Oh yeah, no, I've been insane for a
Doing
while.
the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. You ever
Yeah,
want
it'll
to
change.
switch it up?
That's
and-
Sand Scour in a nutshell.
You'll see.
Great
It's
risk.
good. I'll show you all.
Wait,
sounded like
aren't you
Cliff
playing?
here. He's
Aren't you
not-
playing freaking cross wrap with that bow as well?
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
You gotta play New Horizon with that thing, right? Isn't that the whole? I don't know.
No, it's
Maybe.
like a double up.
Yeah, but you don't ever need the double opt usually. Like
No.
it kind of like supplants the cross wrap, right? Isn't that supposed to be the shtick? Then you get to play
And
New
I can
Horizon.
play. And I can play Judge, Jury, Executioner.
Yeah, I suppose.
And now Stone Rain.
Yep.
Maybe I should just build my Azalea deck like a Riptide deck.
Or
So just play Rip.
just play
Starting
Riptide.
to sound like Cliff more and more.
It's good
Isn't
enough
that
to beat Tyler in finals.
Yeah, it's actually
Cliff,
kinda-
how does it feel? How does it feel to be the only person on a deck and still be the worst one?
Oof. Oof. You know, I would say it's quite the accomplishment, honestly. I feel like I've truly achieved something, and it might be bad, but I think it still deserves, some type of shout out.
Yeah, dude, you locked bottom 8. That's sick. Every tournament.
I
you know?
locked bottom 1,
again.
or
No.
at least at the 1K.
No.
We had 5 people drop, and Bailey still ended up in last place. It was crazy.
Only because it doesn't count the ones that drop.
Oh, shit.
No, I picked up a round 1 win against an Enigma today. And then proceeded to get smacked by an Enigma round 2. And then round 3 was an Azalea mirror, which I have not played in forever. There was like 5 turns of us just shooting red back and forth. And it was like, oh my god, like nobody's able to do anything.
It's actually kind of funny.
It
Sounds miserable though.
It was honestly pretty miserable.
Yeah.
It felt like the fucking Spider-Man meme. We were just sitting there like pointing at each other.
You should try the New Horizon.
Hey,
Dude. You should try it.
Maybe I should. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong with it.
Just play Riptide with Sand Scour. You get all the new toys from the Azalea Armory deck, and you get to play Riptide. So Cliff's somewhere happy.
That's true.
I'm not out here to give Cliff the satisfaction.
Could you
It's
imagine
too
that?
late. Like he's been saying this deck has been good for like 6 months, and now it's actually like it's pretty good.
Here's what would happen if we picked it
The
up.
issue is we're still in the misfill meta.
Well, yeah. Apparently, according to some people, Riptide's good in this meta. I mean, Nick won the 1K on it, so.
He's really good.
Yeah.
I played his.
I mean, there was only
Riptide
one
into
new
his
in our
new-
tournament, one Zen in our tournament. But
Was there any news?
there was 5 new. It was the most represented next to KO. It was 5 KO, 5 new.
Oh, are you still talking about the 1K?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just talking about Riptide winning.
Oh, okay.
I think it would be funny if we all showed up with Riptide because it would just like Cliff would just be fucking pissed. We just stole his deck after shitting on it for months. Oh, dude.
Let's do it.
Why not?
Alrighty, boys.
Let's
I got
show
one
up to LL
question.
with Skirmish. Or LL with Riptide.
Okay, now you're freaking smoking something.
What's up, Nathan?
Nah, dog.
I got one question before I get out of here. Zach, how does it feel to be the best host on this podcast?
Oh,
You know, it's
okay. Shots fired.
I learned a
shots
lot
fired.
from Josh, and I'm just grateful to follow in his footsteps.
Yes, sir.
Damn.
Well, boys.
That's fucked up.
Alrighty, on that note, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. As always, been a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, Nathan. That was a blast.
Thanks, Nathan.
What a guy, huh? That's our
Man.
judge, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Steckman.
The
Hey, not just a judge, he is the
The-
judge.
what is it, Bailey? What is the acronym?
The JCR
There
of
it
the
is.
entire Midwest region.
There it is. Oh my
I feel
God.
bad
I
now.
love
He's
it.
not on to defend himself anymore.
Yeah, now we just get the shit on him again. No.
Yeah.
Love
Fuck you,
Nathan.
Nathan.
He's the best. we have such a. It was actually kind of funny. Like today at the Mount Armory, Sean and I were sitting next to each other, and he was giving me shit about dice. But like, you know how Sean does. Sean, we go back and forth and we give each other shit, and it kind of caught some of the people off guard until they like realized it, like, because I laughed and we just like, you could tell we were just like big brother, little brother, and people kind of laughed like an awkward, like, okay, everything's not,
Yep.
he's not serious, because Sean's like, where the fuck's the dice I gave you? He's calling me out for not using the dice he gave me. I'm like, dude, I don't know, what are you doing right now? It was funny.
Being a menace.
And then people just like awkwardly laugh. It's like, but that's like that's like kind of the connection we all have. We like to give each other shit. It's very much a
It's
a
good
brotherhood.
group.
You know,
It's a good group of guys. No, I love our community. It's always
it
it's always
truly
been
is.
good, especially now that we're missing Zach.
yeah. Well, it's so easy too. All you clowns, it's so easy. It's so easy to freaking.
Are you saying now it's good that we're missing Zach?
Yeah, that was a roast on Zach. No,
Because there's no Prism now, you're free.
It's
Yeah, I
true,
I know.
dude. There's
Danny,
like no
where you at,
illusionist.
man?
I know. No, we love
Danny
you,
was
Zach.
there at Chaska.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Isn't Sean on Enigma now?
Sean
Yeah.
played Enigma today. Yep, I think he went like 1 and 2.
Danny was on Enigma.
Yeah, Danny.
Oh,
was.
you're talking about Sean. Sorry.
Or yeah, Zach just asked what Sean was playing.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place tonight.
That's all good. We've only been doing this for a year.
We're having a loose
Hey,
episode.
Well, that actually kind of brings me on to
I
maybe
love
my
this.
next kind of like thing I wanted to
you know
talk
what?
about,
A
you guys.
little loose episode kind of calls back to the first few. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah,
Those-
dude. Yeah. Well, that's kind of
all
what
over the place.
I wanted to ask you guys. Maybe what was like the biggest thing you guys have learned in the year of doing this, or maybe the biggest thing,
I think-
biggest takeaway. What do you guys think?
Didn't we literally call one of the episodes like off the rails because we just went off topic like the entire thing?
Yes.
Yeah, boosting off the rails. That
Yeah.
was
Did we-
bright lights.
did
We've
we
always
even
tried to have
talk about
punny like
that at all?
pun names,
Pun
which
names.
is fun.
It gets hard sometimes.
It can.
Trying to think of these like funny title names.
It can. Sometimes it's
Josh
challenging.
is like the pro at it.
Ty and I conspire half the time.
Yeah,
I feel like I
think
have nothing to contribute. I just sit here and I'm like, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, it's funny because Josh will usually like message me the night before, and we're just kind of racing, we like to come up with something good. We usually come up with something good though, but I think for me, like the biggest thing,
Shakedown? Yeah.
yeah, that one seemed pretty easy. One of my biggest takeaways for me is probably just like we were maybe a little too rigid at first, or try to be by the books and like try to give like honest takes and honest like advice on the game. Whereas now I think we just like talk about the game in a way that like we're just ourselves.
Yeah.
Way more ourselves compared to when you listen to those early episodes.
Yeah.
I can't even listen to it, dude. It's so bad.
It's,
Like
it's bad.
I do not advise any listeners to go
Definitely.
back and listen to the early ones.
around
It
like
definitely
15,
didn't
20.
feel like we were just like sitting down to shoot the shit in the first couple.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It felt like we were kind of.
It was
I
like,
mean,
all right, here's the schedule. Like, this is what we have to talk about.
yeah, we had
And,
show
like,
notes, right? We
Yeah.
actually had. Remember, Josh?
Yeah.
You wrote up
I
show
wrote up
notes
a
every
bunch of-
single,
yeah.
and we'd go through what we're talking about. We don't do that anymore.
No,
we have a little pre-game where we go, okay, boys, what we're gonna talk about. Honestly, we'll spend 30 or 40 minutes in the pre-show talking, and it's like, shit, we need to start recording this. This is good. That happened that happened tonight.
we'll like talk about it throughout the week, right? And like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of things that we could talk about on the podcast. And then yeah, like you said, like literally 30 minutes before, we're like, oh shit, what are we talking about this week? Like,
Exactly, dude.
not that it's like disorganized, but like
No, it's controlled chaos. You know,
Yeah.
it is.
very much so.
I love winging it. It makes it way easier.
I think
Flows
that's maybe
way
what's
better.
appealing compared to our, or like with our podcast, is that I mean we definitely talk meta and we talk competitive. We all play in those tournaments.
Yep.
But I'd like to think we give
Well,
maybe like a
most
more,
of
yeah, most of us show up. Most
Sorry,
of us.
Nathan's gone. The roast session's over. I need to
Yeah, quit roasting
chill.
yourself, dude. Jeez.
Hey.
But yeah, I'd like to think we kind of give like a lighthearted opinion on the game or outlook on the game.
Yep.
We can be harsh and kind of down sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me,
I
guys.
feel like I especially have
It's
been
alright.
like really down on it lately.
Well, when
And
you
it's
and
just-
I don't think, yeah, I think it's just kind of a common sentiment you're hearing from players, especially players that are not playing
Yeah.
those heroes. If you're not playing those, if you are playing those heroes, you're not hearing them like complain about it. And like, no matter what, there's people will complain.
All the time.
This is just one of the times that I get to because I'm not enjoying it. Like most of the metas I've enjoyed heavily, you know.
Yeah.
This
the,
one,
the
just not so
only
much.
other meta that I can remember disliking as much as this one is Starvo.
Oh,
come
someone
on.
said
Like-
that. Someone said that to me this weekend when I was at the shop. I showed up to Legends just to like work for a few hours before the tournament, and someone said something about Starvo, and it made me kind of think back. Like I didn't like dislike that meta.
Because you were a prison player.
Okay, that's what also I think I
We've
forgot who
been
said-
over this.
I know. I didn't necessarily like have a terrible matchup into Starvo. But it was kind of like what
I
Nathan
did.
was saying.
I was on bad Azalea.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you were playing Azalea back then, that's probably the wrong time to be doing it. But like with what Nathan was saying, like I'm always a proponent of like powerful cards. I love powerful things. I love breaking the card game, you know, with things in my deck. Like in Magic, you got to really do that sometimes when you play combo decks and stuff. Or Tron, like you just break the rules of the game with Tron. Like you were saying, Bailey, but like Starvo felt like that pinnacle of like, oh my gosh, we got here. Now you get to do this crazy thing, and it was like cool to see.
Yeah.
It sucked to be on the other end of it, sure. Like I've gotten Crippling Crush, Dominate, Go Again plenty of times.
It's a powerhouse.
Into Icy
Using-
Winter's
yeah,
Bite, you know,
yeah.
like it's a thing. But yeah, I don't know. This meta feels. I think this meta feels very much like the decks are just not caring about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Starvo is what was a little bit similar, so I can see the comparisons for sure. But I didn't even think. Yeah, rant done. I didn't even think Starvo was that bad of a meta. I think MST meta is worse than Starvo meta. Maybe that's my hot take. But
I kind of agree with
Dude,
that.
I did-
I mean, I played Starvo. So I didn't
exactly,
really care.
dude. You loved it too.
I love playing
Yeah,
that.
you loved
it.
it
was
too.
so much fun.
Yeah. What is your take on it, maybe, Zach? I know we've talked.
Starvo meta was just there were so many Starvos running around. I think that was like the difference. I feel like now and like with the Starvo meta is like the Starvo meta was like 50% if not more Starvo, and then like whatever deck you wanted to play, and maybe a couple chains or whatever else it may have been. But like, and that it just got boring playing against Starvo again and again and again and again. It was just like, okay, cool. But like the one thing Starvo did compared to some of these Misfails heroes, well, Zen specifically, is just like Starvo would like maybe block with a card from hand. So they were kind of like there was like the leaking of damage thing coming in, and they were just mainly just setting up their crippling for 11, dominate, go again. Here's a winter whale, which was just dumb. That's a different point, but just like it felt like they were kind of engaging with you, and especially like I think like I have a different view on it as a Prism player, because like they kind of had to respect your metamorphs. They had to respect some of your other cards because you had the instant speed stuff going on. So that made it a little different. And then like I compared it to like the Mistful heroes now, it's just like Zen is literally just like Zen can't block. He has enough like 0 costs, no blocks and 2 blocks in his deck. Like he literally can't block.
Well, yeah,
like,
and
if he blocks, then he like doesn't have a turn.
Yeah, but the
So
problem
it's just, like,
too
he's
is
incentivized not to block.
but when he does block, he gets rewarded for it so
And then
crazily,
when he does
right?
block, he blocks with his headpiece to get the blue that he wants,
And
and
the
his boots so he can get the banish for the Art of War. So it's just like it's so on its face about like, hey, this is the thing that's coming on. Can you prevent it now or not? The nice thing is I play Prism still, which means that I can just go Arclight Sentinel. I don't care what happens and just hope for the best.
Yeah, that's gotta feel nice.
Yeah, I think
think
the
Zen
nice thing about
powers.
the Mistfeel meta is that new is in the Mistfeel meta, and I've said this before. I enjoy playing into new, not because it's a favored matchup for Prism, that helps, but because like I think it's a good back and forth. Like there is like thought going on. It's like, hey, do they have the reactions? Can they pay for the reactions, for the buffs, for the double trouble, or the bonds of agony, or whatever it may be? That's like, do I have a way to prevent that? Am I going to lose all my angels here? Like, what's the give and forth there? I like that part of this meta, but like it's not like, I think on the other side of these like triangles of metas we've had is like the heavy hitters meta, where it's just like everything's just a good numbers deck, and it's just like, can you get your numbers before your opponent does? And it's like, and there was more variety of the decks, and then the decks that you did see, there was a variety within each hero. Now it's just everything's like, even like Cat's Zen isn't a thing. Like we thought it would become a thing, or like some people would go.
Yeah.
It's like people are still just doing the bond stuff.
Yep.
It just, now you have like 6 less cards, so here's 6 more cards and do it again. So I don't know. I'm excited for Rosetta because these heroes fold to arcane damage. Auxilio looks really cool. Aurora, seeing that first strike deck, just seeing that deck play out and seeing some of the cards in there, I'm just like, I would love to get my hands on one of those and like show up to a Blitz Armory with this like a couple upgrades here and there and just like play Aurora. And I think I just have some of the most fun I'd have in Flesh and Blood, and kind of this like weird waiting room that we're in right now.
That's funny. It is kind of like a waiting room.
Perfect way to
Have
put
you
it.
played the Enigma matchup into any arcane? Because I feel like on paper, like Enigma should be like housing arcane, right?
Enigma is positive into Kano
Okay.
because she can run AB3 and not get punished.
Yeah. I could see that.
It's just like there's a lot. I think it's one of those matchups that is a skill test for both players. But if you play a bad Kano and you're decent on Enigma, I think you win. If you play a good Kano and you feel good on Enigma, I think it's a little bit closer, but it's still favored for you.
I think it's really rare to find a bad Kano in the wild. I feel like if anyone's on Kano, they're pretty practiced. Like you have to get lucky and kind of find a Kano that's just starting or something.
Dude,
like
Wes
Yeah,
is playing
that's
Kano.
true.
And
Like,
he's loving it.
yeah.
Wes has played very well on it.
And new and you said new is probably unfavored into arcane. I could see that as well. They can't like pressure enough and do enough, I'm sure. And does their banish help Kano in a way? Like, is he able to somehow like play those cards or
No, Kano has no way to play them. I do think New is going to struggle into Verdance and Florian, because Verdance and Florian can just be like, well, I'll block with this Earth card and then it gets to my banish zone and I don't have to decompose. Like, this is great for me. I think both of those heroes are going to have a good New matchup. I think Florian, if he can be a little bit... Well, I think Aurora is going to be more of the aggro Runeblade, and I think that's going to give her a good matchup into Zen. So... If Aurora has any disruption effects, like I think that's gonna like help that matchup, which means that Zen gets knocked down a peg, which will be very good for the meta, and maybe that deck gets built in a different way going forward.
Yeah, the arcane shift up is gonna be like, it's gonna make all of these decks,
I think we're just gonna see like completely like certain decks are gonna have to be built from the ground up differently now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to respect the AB all the time with these new heroes. Aurora's play I loved it. I watched 3 Floatings video, and it looks powerful. I like how it can just constantly chain You're able to get that embodiment quite easily, almost every turn.
Yeah.
The weapon is amazing. So I feel like the weapons with this new set are definitely going to play a huge factor into here. Because we've seen one powerful weapon so far.
Is that her sword?
Yeah.
Yep.
She looks like she flows really well.
See what you did there.
Bailey's good for like a one-hitter every once in a while. Just comes in with this one
I mean,
liner.
there's a new keyword. I think it's a new keyword, like lightning flow. If you've played a lightning card, so it looks like they're going away from fusions, which is cool.
I don't
Aurora's
understand
also interesting.
I don't understand why everyone hated fusing.
Well,
Like
I mean,
I didn't hate it. I just think it's unique that they're going away from it. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, that's
I don't
kind of
know.
that was my reaction to a little bit, is like why are they going away from fusing? Like, and I guess people didn't like that mechanic, but
I think it's a hard mechanic to grasp, especially like it makes sense for like these learn to play decks, because that's essentially what these are. To have like a fuse mechanic is kind of hard to learn, and it's just like, okay, what's going on here? So maybe we will see fuse come back. We just haven't seen it yet, but we've seen this lightning flow of if you've played a lightning card, then you get this additional effect, which is kind of cool. So it allows things to get go again, or like extra attack buffs, and I'm really interested just to see more cards from Rosetta.
agreed.
yeah, I know we are kind of in this waiting room. Like you
We
said,
get
it's so true right
a
now.
couple more sometime soon, don't we? Some of the, I want to say it's battle hardens.
Yeah, there's the calling in the Philippines, I think.
I thought they were done
And
with
then
like
there's gonna be one
the weekly reveals, and I thought they did it all in like 1 week now. Isn't that kind of?
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
there's a
No.
calling in 2 weeks that will have one, and then there's a battle hardened this coming weekend in Brazil that will have one.
Oh, really?
And I think that's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Huh. Now the Runeblade sword, right? That's a 1 for possibly 2 with Go again, right?
Yep.
It made me like appreciate Leveler when I read that. I was like, oh, that it seems good. Like when you're seeing it in action, and then I'm like, oh wait, this is my Leveler just becomes even better than this thing. Like Leveler's like the best weapon ever, dude.
oh, yeah.
It's so good. It's so good when you get up to 4 evos
Yeah,
and you're just
it's-
picking for 3 with a Go again.
Unreal.
It's insane. But
I
yeah,
lo-
it just
that's-
goes to show like how strong just those measly weapons can be. Like it's like a, I mean, Kadachi's. You look at Kadachi's, the base level costs 1, tax for 1, has Go again.
Yep.
I mean, it has the stipulation, right? But
Most of the time they can hit it. Like you can never put Kadachi's out of the question.
yeah, it feels like it just feels like a really good like weapon. It
Yeah.
just feels really good for her.
Too.
Yeah.
Like
And I
you're
think her
saying, too,
durability, seeing it play out, like it's like, oh, it's not just a like 2 floating does absolutely nothing. Like, those embodiments of lightning tokens are like allow her to go wide enough with enough value into those attacks, like coming in for 4s or 5s with Go again,
Yep.
to be able to go like a lightning search from Arsenal or something like that. Like, so I think I was hesitant for Aurora. I was just like, whatever. But like after seeing that first strike deck, I'm super excited for it. And I think, I don't know, I'm just waiting for a Celio though. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think he's the one I'm most excited for. I just think his ability. They're not giving us the full puzzle here. They're just showing us. When you read the ability, you're like, this seems so simple, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
I have
excited.
a hot take on Verdance if anyone wants to hear it.
Oh, we love hot takes
Ooh,
here.
what's the Verdance?
All right, so she's going to have a Demi hero similar to like Levia, and it's like if you have X number of cards in your banish zone, then you can flip into her Demi hero form that does like additional some effect thing.
Mm,
I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
I think the
'Cause it
demi
just seems
heroes
like she's-
are all really cool.
I
I
think
love
they're
the
amazing.
design and the fact that you're evolving.
It's so cool.
Feels like
Yeah.
you're evolving
And I
like
think
in
like, so
Pokemon.
if you like, I watched the launch trailer again this weekend, and I was just like, that's maybe there is something there with like Verdance like being like something else, like she's growing into something else, because it just kind of feels like she's going to be a defensive wizard, which I think is going to be super cool design space wise.
yeah.
Yep.
But I'm just like, there's something like she's missing like the explosiveness of wizard. I'm just like, maybe that's the way you give it is you get to the late game, you get down to 10 health, you have 20 cards in your banish zone, you flip into this Deme form that does this, able to spike in arcane damage, and then your opponent's dead. And I don't know. I think that just sounds cool.
Oh, trust me, it's cool. That sounds a lot similar to
sounds
Teklo.
amazing. Yeah,
It sounds just like
amazing.
what Teklo does, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun like explaining to people what Teklo does when you transform, and it's like the tanks have go again and they have overpower and they have discard on hits. Like it's fun doing it to like at a competitive level. But when you're like today, like I played my opponent had never played against Teklo, and I was at like 15 and they were at like 30 plus. They felt like they were very far ahead, but just like I knew in the back of my head, like, oh no, like I have to do this to this poor person, like
Kill him.
well, just dude, it was like 3 Terminator
combo.
tanks. It was 3 Terminator tanks in one turn. All had go again 9, and then it was against Levia, who like had to discard, and like the blood debt problem, and so it was just like, yeah, like I don't know, that huge combo thing like you're talking about, where you flip into Demi Hero and you go the fuck off. Like I think the game could use more of that, and you build towards it.
Yeah.
You play the game out, because like it's really fun trying to play the entire game out, knowing early like exactly what you have to do. Like if you're not seeing evos, you have to be blocking more and just preserving life, and like you're playing for the long game, and I think the game could really use that more, or more of that. I think Zen wants to kill you in 2 turns. New, I guess, kind of wants to play a long game. I suppose Enigma does too. But they're not like setting up for endgame, usually trying to kill you in second cycle and stuff. It's not like a pitch stack meta right now. Like heavy hitters seem a bit more like that. But
Yeah. And Teklo benefited from a pitch stack too.
oh yeah. No, it's annoying when people like look at my deck with bonds when they don't hit, and they just shuffle my deck. That happened a couple times where I'm like, oh, dude, you actually just like totally screwed up with my combo turn.
Yeah.
Just ruined me.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we can kind of move on, guys. You guys want to talk a little bit skirmishes? Zach, you said you have a skirmish out in New Zealand, don't you?
Yeah, we have an LL one end of the month.
Let's go. Let's go.
There's gonna be a lot of chain out. There's gonna be a lot of lightning, Lexi shenanigans. I don't know.
So I actually think
it's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
I think the Lexis right now should be running ice. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen the list or anything. But I think the ice, like I've been playing an ice version of Lexi. I played this week a few games on LL. Took me like maybe 10 or 15 minutes to get a game, but if I would just sit there with a tab open, just like in the public queue, like eventually someone's gonna see it and load one up, right?
Yep.
So it was cool. I beat a Zen, I beat a Chain. What else? I beat a Viscerai, OTK Viscerai.
Like, why are there so many Zens playing LL?
Dude,
Stubbies.
Because
Stubbies.
the deck gets stubby hammers.
The
and
idea-
bonds and
Yeah. Well, it's crazy
insane.
because you have Stubbies like that's like a on-board Art of War, essentially. So then you still have the opportunity to block with boots, block with hat, and then on your turn you activate Stubbies, play your Art of War, play your Ancestral Harmony, and
play another art.
whatever you
yeah,
want.
I mean it's crazy.
Sacred art. You can pop off with that deck.
No, but I think the Ice Disruption is actually like I got to play like the 3 channels in Lexi now, which is nice, and I run a lot of yellow cards that are not yellow cards, a lot of ice cards to keep it around and stuff. Chilling Ice Vein. So it's like a little bit fuse. I mean, it's not fuseless Lexi. But man, it's either that or Icelander. I'm gonna play an Ice Hero. I know that. I'm playing something ice. I haven't really touched Icelander yet, but we'll see.
Dargo's technically an ice hero.
Yeah, that's true. I am not touching him with a 10-foot pole though, dude. Like I don't know.
Why not?
I played,
love him.
Well, it's because like the second I ever had the deck built and wanted to bring it to like arm raises when it like got rotated out, basically. Like it was like, and I like had it built and I had the opportunity to bring it to locals, but then like there was no point anyways because like it was about to like LL. It was like right before when it hit that 998 or whatever it was, or
But you were on Prism and then switched over to Iceland.
I built the deck and I had it ready and I wanted to play it, but never did.
No, I think it's a super fun deck, even with the restrictions.
Yeah, you can
I
still
think
play
it's.
it.
I think the restrictions make it a very interesting deck. Like I still think it's a strong deck.
Oh, yeah.
You just get preyed on by Kanos because Kanos are going to show up to LL. 'cause
How
that's
many
what Kanos
though?
do.
I feel like that was kind of a fluke.
Like Yeah, in a local skirmish, no Kanos are going to show up. But at an LL calling, you know, there's going to be a couple.
I really wish that they would stream the LL stuff attached to these majors, because I would love to see how the Kano beat the Prism. And actually, was it OG Prism or New Prism? Because that's relevant. But I can't imagine it's good for Kano either way.
I know it was New Prism, but
no, he
Prism
got through a Prism in the top 8 though.
Oh yeah,
he beat a Prism in top 8.
Yeah,
I think he beat
so what happened was.
Did you watch it or see it, Zach?
No, I heard what happened.
Oh,
but
okay.
Prism pitched Light of Soul, which created a trigger on stack.
Mm-hmm.
So Prism was down 2 cards, had an Angel attacking, and Kano looks at their hand. They're like, "Yeah, I'm going to respond," and then they responded by popping their Striders, so they could play a Tome from hand, and then just went Kano things and killed them from 32.
Oh man, so they just like were forced to try to go off and play their Tome at instant speed off boots. That's actually.
Yeah,
that's funny because that's like honestly just what Kano does sometimes.
Yeah,
but like I think like a good Kano that knows their deck and like knows the fact that like they can pitch into boots to get off Tome to just get the whole thing rolling is just a really strong play. And they have the Kindles now, which allow you to get through Angels a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, like OG Prism, I know was historically terrible for Wizards, so maybe it was a new Prism trying to play the Angels and stuff. But yeah, I would love if someone showed up with Kano. I hope we get some players from the cities at the LL skirmish. We're gonna be giving away a bunch of extra stuff. Try to get a banner out of him too. We got a bunch of extra banners we can give away. And yeah, we'll try to juice it up. I want to make it special. I know LL gets a lot of flack, but yeah, I'm stoked, man. I can't wait to play some Ice Heroes.
I'm excited for it. I think I'm going to play Zen.
You're not coming.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Shut up.
I believe in you, Josh.
Thank you, Zach.
I
never miss a skirmish.
It's like probably not true. You look at the track record. You look at the last one, probably.
I've missed one.
Oh man.
But
yeah,
no.
every other one is Blitz. You probably don't plan on making it to any of those, huh? No, I'm gonna try to go to Phoenix. That's Nathan's local shop.
Yep.
Bailey, what about you? You gonna go to any Blitz skirmishes this month, or?
We'll see.
I know how much you love Blitz.
I don't mind playing Blitz at the like skirmish level. I don't know. It just feels a bit more like tight,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
There's not all of this like. You have a better idea of like what you're gonna run into at like a more competitive level Blitz event versus like an armory level one where people are just trying to do some like wacky shit.
Yeah,
And there's like
for sure.
absolutely still people trying to do like wacky shit at skirmishes, but I don't know. You just have a better idea of what you're gonna see,
True.
I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking about building Zen. Apparently Zen is like breaking Blitz right now. Like maybe I'll play one.
I don't believe it.
I mean, dude, yeah, I can believe it too. I'll probably try to play well, that means I'd have to go to 2. I doubt I'll be able to go to 2 Blitzes. I really want to play Shyana though with all her new toys now, dude. She's actually like this super unique and fun deck. You know, she can just lose to drawing dead hands so quickly though in Blitz. But yeah, I guess Zen is a problem in Blitz.
Yeah.
This is what I heard. I have not.
When I played in the Blitz Armory that we had, I used yours on, and he was good. I think I went 2-1 and absolutely crushed.
Yeah, I think what you can do though is like if you just go first, you try to like transcend one card. This guy was telling me, and then on like your next turn, you just always block. Well, I mean, you kind of have to like have the pump, the ancestral, or the art of war to make it worth it. But you really just kill them on turn 1 or 2, like every game. It feels a bit like Rhinar or something, you know. Because I know Rhinar's always been really good in Blitz. I think still is probably.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
It's really good.
It's been a while since we actually played Blitz or talked about Blitz. It's been so like
We played Blitz like last month.
yeah, I think so. I just mean like our heads have been kind of in the sand with Nats just like last month, and then or what was that, like 2 months now? But anyways, just it's been a bunch of, this competitive season has been all CC obviously, so it's gonna be a nice little change of pace to hit up these blitz skirmishes and play some fucking Living Legend. Can't wait to get back to you guys on that.
I'm excited.
Bailey, we need to stream that. Donatello.
Which one? The skirmish?
Yeah. We need you, Donatello.
Donnie.
The Don.
Also, we could probably give the audience an update on the 1K video. Is that up and rolling, or is that coming out in the next few days, Bailey, with the commentary by our fellow co-hosts Zach and Sean?
Oh shit!
Should be.
Cliff, that's a shot at you.
Pretty much just have to. I pretty much just have to download them and get them rolling.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we'll have that out
So-
for you guys.
There's some high production value in some of those as well.
I think we need to get Sean a new mic, but you guys did a very good job.
Did we? What?
We
need
added
to, or-
screenshots of like cards. So,
Yeah,
like,
that
we
was
could,
awesome.
Like, show them on screen.
Yeah, I love that. That was actually very, very cool.
We did that in the top 4 when you transformed, so like we could explain what these cards do, because probably most people hadn't seen the Teklo transform before. So that was really fun. That was my personal highlight for recording.
That was an
Yeah,
incredible game, dude. Like, I watched that game back. I have not watched the finals back. But going to 1 and being put in the spot that I was in a few different turns in that game was just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I gained 9 life, I
kind
think,
of
too.
Played a bit too.
I think so
Like,
too.
They did not respect your Teklo leveler, and I think
Yeah.
that was kind of what did them in.
Also, the last turn, I think he just plays Codex of Frailty to make me block with a card from hand. Like, I think he pitched it to like a dagger, which kind of just doesn't really kill me anyways. So, but anyways, yeah.
We need to figure out how we can get. Well, it's so tough with like Sean also being a player. Like, it'd be so cool to do it live.
Well, I mean, yeah, how would we do that, especially with Zach being in New Zealand and stuff?
You could just wake up early. I mean, that would just be me, and it's just like, well, we'd figure it out.
We could get him rolling. Zach can just call in and do the live casting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
We're
we
smart.
can figure it out. But yeah, we're gonna be hopefully streaming the LL thing. So
Good.
you guys will have to be on the lookout for that. Did we really have anything else, boys? Did you wanna? I know we got a couple questions this week. Zach, you had a couple good ones. I know we could spend probably.
We had the battle hard.
But yeah.
Yeah, but it was just Zen new, right? I mean, who cares?
Same shit.
Yeah,
as
it was-
always.
If it was
Yeah.
like Teklo
We know
Riptide,
what?
we'd be talking about it,
We'll
baby.
talk about it when it's something new.
Yeah. But
Yeah, let's rip the questions.
do you want to kind of maybe try to ask the ones you wrote down? You obviously don't have to like word for word them, but I
Yeah,
know you had some pretty
so-
good ones.
So one was just like talking about like archetypes from Magic the Gathering are used as like the baseline for all archetypes in card games, which is understandable and fair, but they're hard to make like a true one-on-one comparison to like fab playstyles. Granted, there is aggro, there's still control, and there's still mid-range maybe to a degree, but fundamentally there's the phrasing of Flesh and Blood is a fighting game rather than like a card game, because you're controlling the hero and then you're going with the back and forth. So what are maybe some other archetypes or other deck playstyles that you would describe in Fab, and like which heroes would be representations of those playstyles?
Yeah. I think it, like you said, we talked about this, like I think in the DMs a little bit, but I think like you said, it's hard to correlate Fab with Magic's archetypes for sure, because it just the game is played on a turn by turn basis, right? It's not like this buildup of a board state. Like Fab or sorry, like Magic is. But you definitely like still have your aggro and your control decks. I think one of the biggest things for me, like this was a really good question because I couldn't really I couldn't pick a right answer. Like I couldn't find a right answer. I think one of the main indicators of if like you're an aggro deck is your blue count. If you have a low blue count, you're naturally more of an aggressive deck. Your reds are generally like your cost curve is 1 or 0. And if you're playing like more blues, you're usually a deck that prefers second cycle. You use your blues as pitch cards and then use them as an attack or to some effect in your second cycle. And I would consider those decks more control-y. But again, like we talked about it, like with Bravo, right? Like you have a ton of blues in Bravo.
Yep.
But you can also build Bravo aggressively.
Zell
So it
spell
doesn't
things.
always like align with that like cost curve and the number of blues in your deck. Like you can still, like I said, build your Guardian decks as aggressive decks. It's just more of like, I think at different stages of the game, you might play the role of the aggressor, and then you might have a few turns where now you're kind of defending and you're more controlling the tempo of the game, and you kind of do that in stages throughout the game. So unless you're Zen, you just are aggro every turn and then you win on turn 3. But,
Yep. No, naturally, I mean, I would compare this to like, I saw the Street Fighter video and like Mortal Kombat stuff, and you know, you definitely see it in those types of games. Like the bigger dudes are obviously defense, and that, like you were saying, it correlates with all the Guardians, all the
high blue count
decks that just, you know, carry the game on till the end. So I don't know. I definitely didn't play too many other like card games before I played Flesh and Blood.
Yep.
So I couldn't really compare them to like any Magic decks, but
Yep.
I mean,
Like-
you generally see it in every fighting style type
Oh,
game.
yeah, 100%.
See it in Pokemon, you see it in everywhere.
A lot of times in other games too, like an aggressive deck just runs out of resources quickly, and either they killed you or they're dead. And it's just, again, it's just not played like that in Fab. Like you know, what you're doing on a turn by turn
You
basis.
really,
I think. Go ahead, Bailey.
Running out of resources is very different in Fab too.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting.
I feel like in Fab you run out of like threats, like cards that are gonna actually like do damage and like further your game plan more so than you're gonna like run out of resources. Like I think Zen's the perfect example. Like at some point in time, Zen's gonna run out of bonds or descendants or like tiger swipes to recycle back, and like they're just gonna have like no target for their Zen effect. They're gonna have like nothing to fetch. Like at that point, they're not out of resources because they can still pitch and play the game, but they're out of threats. And I think like it's almost like I think of like they get fatigued, not in the sense of us like fatigued by a fatigue deck, but they get fatigued in the fact that like they have nothing left. It's like the fighting game comparisons. It's like, well, there's no threat yet. They're out of equipment. They're out of anything they got to like push themselves over the edge. Their deck is fatigued of damage and abilities to allow them to win the game.
Yeah.
On the flip side, you have a deck like Teklo that you don't start really at full power. You get to full power, which makes it a super unique deck of just like you're gonna build up to that power point, and once you get there, you're over the top, and it's pretty much hard to lose at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. I just feel like there's so many different type of decks, and like this like the default like especially with Fab because it is played off turn cycles and you get to draw up to 4 cards like. Every deck is essentially mid-range. Like you're trying to utilize a best 4-card hand, and they're trying to utilize best 4-card hands. It's like you block with 2 and then swing for 7 because that's like you're technically up on value then, which makes you a good mid-range deck. But like, I think that's just a terrible analysis of like what the game is actually doing.
No, I think at a base level though, you are correct. Like it's basic math. You're trying to get the most value out of 4 cards every single turn, right? I think the big indicator there though, like if you're talking value and what the decks are trying to do with value or whatever, like each card you can look at differently, where you can look at it like, okay, what value do I get if I block with this card? What value do I get when I attack with this card? And if the value you're getting when you're attacking with it is generally more than the blocking, and you want to use them most of the time for the offensive, route. And if you're valuing a card and you're almost always saying, well, I'd rather attack with this than block with it, I think you just lean more aggressive naturally. And if you're saying, well, I'll block with all these cards like Teklo, like you just are naturally more of a control deck or like you said, mid-range. But there really is no control. There's no counters. There's no well, not yet. I know we have 1 counter, and we did just get 1 reveal.
Yeah.
So maybe there's more counters coming, but we don't really have true control decks. But But if you're finding value on like blocking with a card rather than attacking with it, you're probably a control deck.
Yeah.
But if you're finding the value saying, "Oh, I'm going to attack with this," then
This game's all math.
you're probably aggressive. Yeah.
Just evaluate your point value compared to theirs and see where you get the most amount of points in your hand.
Yeah, that was like, I think Zach, you said it, like heavy hitters was a math format, and people were even complaining about that format and how it was just mathy and we needed some more power, and like it's like you can't ever make anyone happy, right? Like everyone's gonna complain
I
about
don't think
something.
There's never going to be a player base that is happy with the meta or the deck or the new or anything. Like that's just like someone is always going to complain. But I think like I don't know. This is why I like thinking. Like Sean and I swear every time that we're hanging out, we're just like talking like just dumb deck theory ideas to just like think about the game in a different way. And it's just like I
that's
love that
important.
like.
It is.
Yeah, like I love how we by the end of Briar's time there were like two concepts of Briar. There was like that kind of like get value off your embodiment tokens, and then like get excess value off your cards, so you have that 2-card 7 or whatever it may be. Or there was the Briar where it's like I'm going to throw down a Channel Mount Heroic, everything's going to get really good buffs, and I'm just going to go over the top that way. And it's just like it's a different type of aggro deck. It's not aggro like Fi is aggro, or however you want to describe Zen as aggro, but it was an aggro deck because they were being the aggressor. So I just think it's unique. I think Flesh and Blood has created a unique deck building and deck play style, which is just like fun to explore as you like learn more about the game.
Yeah. No, that was a really good question. When I read that, it was really hard to come up with an answer. I don't think there even really is a right answer. It's just so nuanced. There's so much going on with Fab that like it's just very hard to correlate the archetypes.
Every deck is like
You can see a little bit of them all in every deck.
every deck is kind of just its own play style, I would say.
That's true too.
I mean, you
With the way
definitely
the
get
heroes are.
you get into like a hero type, yes, and they do somewhat of the same thing, but most of the time the deck plays completely different than any other deck in that class.
Yeah, really relying on their hero power most times.
I don't know.
Or their equipment too.
Yeah.
Like equipment like can change every like if Zen didn't have Traverse, like what would Zen be? Like
Yeah,
completely
you're right,
different
dude.
deck.
I don't know if he'd be the best deck right
wouldn't be
now.
playable, let's be honest. Like he wouldn't be good, but like
No, he would be.
But
He'd
again,
be
you look at, like-
damn strong. I think he'd be damn fine. Like he'd still be good. He might not be the top deck for sure. He'd be top 4, 5, 3, something like that maybe. But without Traverse, I think the deck becomes an entirely different deck. But I still think it's very strong.
It is.
but equipment supplants play styles and archetypes and all that stuff in like such a unique way. It almost reminds me of like if you've ever played like League of Legends or Dota, this like you can play a character, but like how you build them, like giving their equipment and like the items and like things like that is going to change the play style and like your role on the team. And I think Flesh and Blood kind of does that as well. It's just like you can play like Vestige Prism and Rapture Prism are different decks that are using the same core cards, but their game plans are different. And I think it's as this game continues to grow and change, I think we're going to get deeper and deeper, kind of like what Josh was saying. Like each deck is like so unique and does it a unique thing. Like Prism's technically a search like tutor deck because every time a Herald hits, you get a search for a Figment and then you get the benefit from that. Like Kano's the closest thing we have to a combo deck. You just set up the Wildfire and then blow somebody out.
Yeah, you
But
can't
it's
really.
not even really like a combo deck in like
It's just setup.
the like magic sense of the word.
Yeah.
Or if you like to live on the edge and pull the trigger.
He doesn't really fall into like any of the archetypes though. Truly, like that is kind of a fun little thinker.
I like Zach's description of Kano. He's just random bullshit go.
No, I've said it 100 times. I'll say it 100 more times. And, like you said with the armor, Zach, this game, it feels so much like World of Warcraft to me. I played so much that in my childhood. And the armor suite and like the idea of your kits, what you're bringing to each fight, that was the main thing that drew me into this game when I first saw the design. I first saw how the game was played. I owned cards before I knew how to play. Like I've told you guys that I had a nice little collection before I even touched it and learned how to play with Johnny. But I just loved the idea of like showing up with a headpiece, your chest, your arms. You pick
That's
a weapon.
amazing.
Like it's just. I mean, come on, how do you not? Yeah.
It's just
But-
extra benefits on a field that makes the game way better.
Flavor. Lots of flavor. But did you want to ask? I know you had a couple more, Zach. I think we had one from Sean too. We can end with Sean's.
Yeah. One was just something that came up from Sean and I recording over games, and we were talking about Pokemon, but we'll skip that one for now. And the other one is, I think, which is better, but like, what characteristics makes for like a good play experience against an opponent? As someone who's played Prism, has been yelled at by opponents because I play Prism. It's like, well, that's not fun. But like, I feel like I've had so many games where it's just like I lost or I won or whatever, and like the opponent is like, I think you're the perfect example of this, Tyler. Actually, is just like when you win, like you're just like, hey, that was a good time, whatever it is. You don't showboat, and then like when you lose, it's like, well, that's what happens. Like, and there's good banter going back and forth, which I think it is. I think it makes Flesh and Blood unique in that experience.
Yeah.
Like other card games I've played has been like people will show off when they win and stuff. I'm just like, come on, guys, it's just a card game. We're here to have fun.
Yeah. I think that's actually very true. It's a one-on-one game. It's 1v1. It's not Commander, right? So it is really reliant on your opponent, like in the give and take in a game. Also, like, you don't see much of it, like the sore losing in this game compared to like some of the other card games out there.
Yeah.
I think that just shows or goes to show like the maturity level of like our players for the most part. We're all kind of like in our 30s, it feels like, and
Especially Bailey.
I know
Well,
you guys
speak
are
for
still in your
yourself.
20s. It's crazy, but I see you guys as 30. I swear. I don't know. Maybe I'm just young at heart. My back's not though. But no. I think that's a big key factor though to enjoying a game is like how your opponent is able to lose or win. Like you said, you need to lose with grace before you can learn how to win. And another thing I think is like if you're playing a bad matchup, like if your opponent comes off as like it's unwinnable, it's so freaking unenjoyable. I will never forget a game I had early on in a Pro Quest where I was playing Icelander. My opponent sits down, flips over Dromai, and I'm like, oh dang, this is not one of my good ones. And he goes, yeah, good luck. And he kind of like laughed, but it wasn't like a bantery one. It was like I could just tell, I could tell right away, right from the start that this guy just thought I had no chance. And I just ended up smashing him that game. Cause I had some pretty spicy tech into the Dromai matchup. And I was very practiced into that matchup. And he was livid at the end of the game because he was supposed to be favored. A lot of times you'll get that where if you're supposed to be favored and you lose, your opponent will kind of lose it a little. But I mean, again, that happens. That happens in Fab all the time. You absolutely can lose to your bad matchups.
It's upset season, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a big one. Is just learning how to take a loss, doing it with in stride.
For any new player out there, I mean, that's the best way that we can describe it. Just try to get your teeth kicked in beforehand. You'll learn where you make your mistakes, and then the game is pretty easy to control after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, like when you do play like in the local scene, I think this is why it's so important to play at your local armory. Is just like you get to know the people there, and you can build that banter so that when you do run into the matchup, that's like kind of like you're saying, Tyler, that person being like, "Oh, good luck," and like they're kind of just like almost like digging you a little bit.
Yep.
It's just like, no, I know what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm here for a good time, and like you can kind of just like put that stuff to the side. Like we all tease and joke with each other all the time, which is great. But like end of the day, we also just like want to do it like from a genuine place and not like make someone feel bad because they brought Riptide for the 7th week in a row or whatever it may be. Like they're enjoying that deck, like let them enjoy that deck. Don't be like, oh my god, you have no bad matchups, that deck sucks. Like let them enjoy what they enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you guys want to get to Sean's? I think that kind of does it. Sean says, what is the biggest thing you overcame this year doing the pod? Like off the bat, probably our sound.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of like off
why we don't-
off the top of my head.
That's why we don't recommend the first 5 episodes.
No, our sound was pretty rough there. I remember we kind of started before we really wanted to, though. We were kind of like, Cliff was in
Rushing into
town,
it,
remember? Yeah, we rushed into it a little bit. Biggest thing we overcame. I want to try to maybe just go back to what I was saying earlier. I think we just found ourselves, really. We
Yeah.
found kind of our pocket and our lane.
Be ourselves.
Maybe we were trying to not necessarily not be ourselves, but trying too hard to like, just trying too hard. I don't know. We just tried too hard at first. It
Yeah.
was just like, what are we doing? What, there was a kind of a moment where it shifted, I think, for us, and we all started to really enjoy it. The one thing too I'll say is, man, this really does take a lot of time out of your week. Like, I'm a
It
busy
does.
fucking man, and dude, like, even the headspace where I'm thinking about what we're gonna talk about, or just keeping up on the news when I'm not playing, or we all work fucking long hours and have families at home.
50
Well,
hour
some of
week
us.
last week.
Yeah, dude, that's and
It's a lot.
then we show up 30 minutes before and we go, okay, what are we talking about? You see, but it takes a lot of headspace. It's a lot of time and effort. So it's awesome that like we've grown an audience. It's pretty cool. It's humbling.
Thank you guys.
Like, we had no idea like we'd ever get to this point and have like people listening in. I mean, we have fans out in Singapore. Like, that's
cool.
it's pretty awesome. Shout out Ovaltine. What's up, buddy?
Wild.
I think he might have been like our
Dude.
first player that
I think he
joined
was
the
the first
Discord
one like in the Discord.
that we didn't actually know. So shout out Ovaltine, buddy. Hope you listen to this one. Yeah. You guys got anything else on that one?
I mean, for me, I would have to say I wish we could overcome, like, I want to get our video up for the YouTube.
Looking at you, Donatello.
No, Bailey and I can work together on that, but no, I want to start doing that just to get like a broader
Hey, well, I'm a
audience.
busy guy. It's
Yeah.
the podcast. It takes a lot out of your like weekend.
All your
and
kids.
I'm a family man at the end of the day.
Oh man.
Shout out Tanner, one of our locals. He's about to have a kid. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, man. Tanner's gonna be a dad. Aw, dude. I can't believe it. It's so
The
awesome.
Fab Dad squad grows.
Yes, it does. It does indeed. Gosh, we all
I don't
met
know.
each
Josh
other.
is more Fab Daddy than anything.
None of us were dads when we all met. No, I had Kira a year in, or half a year in to knowing you guys. Fucking wild. It's crazy to think.
Kids are
Crazy to
popping.
think. But Zach, how long have you been listening? Have you been listening since day one, or were you? I know
It was it? When did you guys have your official day one episode come out? Because I remember you posted about it in the Flesh and Blood Discord or the Facebook page. And then I tuned in on occasion, and it wasn't really until probably October, November of last year that it was. Yeah.
Cool. What would, just from maybe an
Oh,
audience
you haven't even been
perspective,
that loyal?
not to put you on the spot here, but maybe just from an audience perspective, what is maybe something that you've seen or heard maybe us overcome, or just maybe kind of the growth from those early episodes maybe till now?
I mean, I think you guys definitely did find your lane. I remember I think it was you about this, Tyler, a couple of weeks back, maybe a couple of months back, but it's you guys aren't here to do meta analysis and to talk about the game at the pro level. It's just you guys are talking about the game at the grassroots level, and I think that's one of the most unique things that you guys bring. It's here's what's going on in our local communities. Here's this thing that we enjoy about this game, and we'll kind of talk about Flesh and Blood. So that's why I think some of the off the rails episodes have been just the most enjoyable to listen to, because it's guys who enjoy talking about Flesh and Blood, talking in circles about Flesh and Blood. It's just it's a nice thing to do. It's different. It's unique. I think it's really good for the game as a whole. It's just to have people who are on it for the casual side.
Yep.
And to enjoy that.
I mean, that's always been our kind of main goal, was to try to draw new players in. Don't be so analytical. I mean, just try to get some players to
Yep.
come
And
play the game.
I think that's
We're
kind
just
of.
here,
Go
we're
ahead,
here for
Manny.
the little guys.
Woot,
You know?
woot.
We're here for the common man.
Yeah.
I feel like we're We resemble like Anchorman sometimes.
Dude, we are so silly. I'll listen back sometimes and I'm like, God, I can't believe we said that. Like, we are so fucking silly, dude. There's probably so many people that turn it off because of that, and that's fine. We're not for everyone. Think about it. Like, people probably hear like Cliff's stupid joke or some joke I say that I'm laughing way too hard at that like is just dumb and not funny like to them. But we have such a good time. We enjoy each other's company, which is like actually important. I think we all like look forward to doing this, I think, every week. So
That's good.
it's been a wild year, dude. To think it's been a year is just, again, it's crazy. It's crazy, dude. Here's to another one, you know.
Season 2 coming up.
Yeah, baby.
No,
Season 2.
our first episode
Two
was
O
on
drop
18.
Bailey. That's what it's gonna be.
This is like our season 2.
But I know we are going to try to plan something for this episode. So I'm going to drop a comment section. I think we're going to do like a giveaway.
Yeah, we're gonna give something away.
And we can...
We'll do maybe have someone. We'll come up with what you guys have to do. Probably have you comment what your favorite hero is and why. Something easy. And then if you commented, we'll pick through those names and do a random drawing and give something away.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I want to do something special.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Any other final notes that you guys want to touch on?
No. Nothing.
Bailey?
I think that's it.
I think we're good.
All right. Well,
Should we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here, Bailey.
let's do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us this week on episode 52 of Big Deck Energy. One whole year down. Here's to many more. As always, you can join our Discord. Link will be in the show notes, in the Spotify description, wherever else it's published. Shoot us an email at bigdeckenergycast@gmail.com. Give us a follow on Twitter at bigdeckpod. And check us out on YouTube. We got a couple of videos heading up there. The podcast is also live. Well, not live, but, you know, it lives on YouTube. Big Deck Energy live also, I think. Oh, I have to check now.
Uh-oh.
So I had to set things up with like 3 different handles because like some things were just like taken
Oh, that sucks.
when I
It's
was
still-
setting
it's
them
still
up.
Big Deck Energy for the YouTube.
Big Deck Energy on YouTube. Check us out there.
You guys are up to
We'll
14 subscribers now.
Let's
Oh,
go,
shit.
dude.
Hey,
that's why I
thanks
wanna
everyone
get
that's been
We're at
subscribed
like
on there.
9 off the 1K.
That's awesome.
We'll have the commentated videos up relatively soon. I might. Nah, you guys don't need to know that.
Okay.
I gotta have some secrets.
Keep your secrets.
No, you guys get to know. The they is in the audience.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh. Why not?
This has been one hell of a Minnesota goodbye, dude.
It's I'm giving him the old Minnesota goodbye. Okay.
Yep.
He's going to be here for an hour.
Did you guys get your hot dish and everything? I got some leftovers in the fridge. Oh shit. Also, I got a beer for y'all. So,
Hams? Better be hams.
This shit is so gross.
of course, you're
Shittiest-
so gross.
Shittiest beer ever.
Actually,
But
I don't know. Hams is gross.
yeah, it's not good.
This evolved really quickly. Anyways, thanks again for listening to us. Shout out to those of you that have been there for damn near the whole year.
Yeah, we really
Get the fuck outta
appreciate
here.
it.
Well,
See you guys.
Peace.
See ya.